Hello, Philobogan here, to my fellow workers in the vineyard, worldwide. Greetings. Today's talk is on the highly swollen, inflamed, and inflammatory topic of pedophilia, kitty fiddling. Yes, it happens all over the world, apparently. The mere thought of it makes my flesh creep and turn green, and I know that the flesh on most of my good listeners would respond similarly. Pedophilia is a crime committed by both men and women, and of late, more and more evidence of female pedophilia is surfacing and breaking through the lace curtain of media silence. Oh, very well. As any pro-male partisan will quickly point out, male offenders get slammed a lot harder, along with men collectively. Overall, female offenders are treated more leniently, and women as a group or as a class are in no way on the hook for such behavior. That is, we are commonly made to understand that male pedophilia is something which men do, so that when a man gets caught, then he, in his singular person, symbolizes men, while for some strange reason female pedophilia is never something that women do, so that when a woman gets caught, she remains merely that singular person, and somebody is sure to recommend therapy. So typically, the feminists will slobber and shit themselves in ecstasy when a male pedophile hits the headlines. Men did this. Needless to say, child abusers are a minuscule fraction of the total male population. There is no evidence to prove otherwise. But here, let's put that in perspective in a way that sounds eminently plausible. Assuming a present male population of 150 million in the USA, let us suppose, for the sake of argument, that just 1 in 1,000 of that number will commit pedophilia in his lifetime. Do the math. That works out to 1,000 men out of every million. Multiply by 150 and you get 150,000 present or eventual pedophiles out of the currently existing male population. In absolute quantitative terms, that is a lot of people. Can you visualize such a crowd? It is an impressively large sea of humanity, more than enough to keep the headlines busy and populate the sexual offender registry, alongside all of those innocent guys who fell victim to feminist-instigated legislationary man-trapping. And yet, it is still just a spit in the pond compared to the overall male population. And I would not doubt, not in the least, that the proportion of pedophiles among the pro-feminist men's movement, measured as a percentage of the total, markedly exceeds the figure for men in general. Keep a sharp eye on those fellas. There is most certainly something very, very off about them. Another thought. What percentage of the adult lesbian population do you suppose has the moral capacity to good rape, as Eve Ensler would say, a female child? Or again, what percentage of the hetero female population would take advantage of little boys for sexual purposes? If we were to find these numbers comparable to the figure for male pedophiles, should it mollify the severity of our judgment to be informed that after all the perpetrators were girls? And would that make it somehow less endemic to femaleness than the male counterpart might be considered endemic to maleness? By what logic would it be possible to uphold such a conclusion? I am driven to wonder why our civilization has gotten so obsessed with pedophilia in the last quarter century or so. Is there anything new about the sexual exploitation of children? Has the world never seen such things before? Or if it has, ought we reckon that more of it is currently happening than any time in history? What's up with this recent obsession, anyway? I feel confident the world contains, all adjustments factored, no more and no less sexual abuse of children than it ever did. I say confident because I am convinced that no better case under no better warrant can be ventured. That said, it saddens me to continue, for I see little else in our present-day pedohysteria than a shabby cloak for something that hardly bears looking into, something akin to a moldy disease in the collective psyche. I mean that pedophilia as such is not the real issue here. The sexual abuse of children, nasty though it be, is nowhere near so diabolical as this culture of frenzied witch-hunting and rabid moral hypocrisy which is growing up around it, spreading its vituperative poison into every limb of the body politic. The latter overshadows the former by an order of magnitude, both on the objective scale of evil and in point of sheer volume. Think Lord of the Flies. Think kill the beast, kill the beast, kill the beast. Yes, it is along those lines. Dark drool from Gehenna, pustulence, horrid primordial stuff. But to a feminist of either political wing, right or left, it is all good. It is all just another move in their war against men, and they would dearly love to see actual pedophilia become more common, or to somehow learn that it actually is quite common already. But if they don't enjoy either of those scenarios honestly, they will continue seeking ways to manufacture them through fraudulent manipulation of data and mass psychology. The feminists don't give a bloody spit about female-perpetrated pedophilia of any kind because men are not the guilty parties in such transactions, and lack of male guilt equals no political ammunition against men. Not to mention it is politically counterproductive to throw a spotlight on female guilt. And even though the feminists are said to be looking out for women, they don't on average give a bloody spit about female victims of pedophilia unless the perpetrator is male. Finally, the feminists don't give a bloody spit about male victims of pedophilia unless the perpetrator too is male, in which case the feminists perk up like magic and become all compassion for cherubic little lads falling into the lizard claws of those catamite NAMBLA perverts. Yes, even if not all feminists are like that, feminism as a socio-political organism exists ultimately for the purpose of promoting female supremacy. And along that road, feminism as a socio-political organism aims to inflict upon men every persecution which it is feasible to inflict within the constraints dictated by political expediency, by which I mean the need to wear a respectable mask. Such is feminist mind rape culture. And feminism as a socio-political organism doesn't give a goddamn rip snort how much human misery and social wreckage it collaterally generates in the process of wrecking men. That truth is becoming more and more plain to more and more people, and those people will rise up and build a brick wall in feminism's path. In fact, if you listen closely, late at night when the world is still, you might catch the faint scraping sound of trowels on mortar in the distance. Did you know that most feminists are inordinately fond of the wine known as Amontillado? Ah, yes, the Amontillado. But enough for now. Thielbogen, out.